Alright, so I will say, like, you offer whiskey, a free shot of whiskey to people if they buy a book, and you sell a shit ton of books. Yeah. Like, I don't think anybody really gives a shit about Hobart books, but I've sold a ton of them. So, to start off, super big thanks to Chris for putting this together. This is an amazing turnout. I've read with groups of people before, and I've maybe read with this many people, but never this many people who solely came to see me read, like I know is the case tonight, which is exciting. That was completely a joke. I was going to say that was kind of a joke, but that was completely a joke. But seriously, along that, somebody brought a flask that, so for Hobart subscribers, we sent out a holiday flask. Somebody brought one and had me sign it, which is maybe the most rock star thing I've ever done.
Well, there is that time that I had you sign my boob.
Yeah, but that happens every Tuesday. Although never with a lady. It's always, it's never even with other dudes. It's always Chris every time. It's a long drive to Champaign too. All right, so I'm going to try to read a couple pieces. All day I've been planning to read a section of the novel that I'm working on, and then at like 7 minutes ago I realized that was a dumb idea, and so I'm going to read the other stuff. This is a recounting of Christmas that just happened. It's about a Christmas that just happened, although amazingly it's also in this book that's back there for sale, that's been out for a few months. It's called Christmas Would Be in December. Christmas would be in December. This was our novel idea, how everything would have worked out. And what the hell? We would descend on December like elves, like real honest to God, excited fucking elves, and take it over. We'd make it our own. We'd celebrate the hell out of it. When the kids were born, we'd had points to prove. We didn't say this to each other, or aloud at all. Saying it aloud wouldn't have proved anything. It would only have suffocated any kind of point. If absolutely necessary, we maybe said it in whispers to the backs of closets. Sure, no one else could hear or know. We taught the kids circles were stars and green was violet. We taught them to spit when meeting people, to say upside down instead of please. They tied their shoelaces with lashing knots, wore them on the wrong feet. And we celebrated Christmas in June. We were fucking the system, we said, though never allowed. As the kids grew older, even June became too regular, too conventional. We started anew in January, celebrated Christmas a new month every year. We stopped wrapping presents. One year we hid the presents out in the yard like Easter eggs. The next year we glued them all to the ceiling, upside down Christmas. The kids woke up, looked at the ceiling. They pointed, said please. And now this year, we've come full circle. It was December's turn. We fretted. We worried we weren't proving any point. We weren't fucking the system. The kids couldn't wait. Teenagers now, they should have been too cool to care, but they were ecstatic. They waited their lives for this. If you can't beat them, we said. Christmas, we said. Christmas in December. We did it up. We left out cookies and milk, then ate and drank half of everything once the kids were asleep. We tracked in snow boot prints. We decorated. We sang carols. We planned on going to Christmas Eve service. Christmas morning, we handed out presents, ripped at wrapping paper, kept warm in the pajamas we'd exchanged the night before. We celebrated. Then, everyone bunkered behind their open presents. We all looked around at each other. What now, the kids asked. What now? And we didn't know. We didn't know what now, and we didn't know if we should tell them that or not.
Yeah.
So I got this one other thing, which was in this dirty issue of Monkey Bicycle, that was all dirty humor.
Oh, good.
So there's that. It's called The Pain of Humiliation. I think it might be a hemorrhoid, my girlfriend asked. And that was it. It had been said. That word I'd been trying not to conjure. She was bringing me a glass of water and a book to read, had just told her daughter to not come in and bug me because I wasn't feeling well. I was lying on the bed, face down, trying not to move, trying not to feel, and really trying not to think of that word. Preparation H and that story I'd heard about Johnny Cash's daughter fighting to not let them use Ring of Fire in their commercials. Having to sit on a donut and see a doctor about problems with my ass at 25. The story my roommate in college told me in detail about his brother having a hemorrhoid, the first time I'd ever heard one described. Every time that brother shat, my roommate told me, bloody veins came out of his ass, and after wiping, he had to push them back in. I pictured that for a second. Couldn't get the image out of my mind. I mumbled something unintelligible, meant as agreement. An hour before, we'd seen that wine movie with pig vomit and that guy from Wings. On the way there, I'd been in some pain, but was thinking it would go away if I just ignored it. This was before my girlfriend had used that word, before I denied the obvious explanation, when it was still just a pain in my ass. Somewhere between the stinging, like I had to crap, and my tailbone feeling like I'd slipped and fallen on it. I have a history of this, ignoring problems as long as I can, and even once admitting to them, reasoning to myself that the problem will fix itself if I just don't do anything about it, don't even think about it. I do this when my car is breaking down and I don't want to go see the mechanic. I do this with my teeth and not wanting to see a dentist, when something in the house breaks, and even apparently now with bodily functions. I have a vault of stories about shitting my pants, mad dashes to bathrooms to avoid close calls with shitting my pants. Always written off as having jacked up bowels before my girlfriend made me admit to having IBS, irritable bowel syndrome. There's something reassuring about medical terminology and knowing what is wrong, but there's also something embarrassing and kind of depressing, and I usually feel the latter. At the movie theater, we ran into a couple we'd had dinner with a few weeks before but hadn't hung out with otherwise. We shared "how have you been" and "sure is cold out," then into the theater while they got concessions. For the next 2 hours, I arranged and rearranged myself in my seat, trying to minimize that discomfort. Sarah says it's almost definitely a hemorrhoid, my girlfriend said, disturbing those thoughts of Preparation H and inflatable donuts and just generally feeling sorry for myself. You told Sarah? I hadn't even come to terms with it yet myself, and already she was telling her friends. I hoped I'd never see Sarah again in my life. Next time we went to Ohio to visit, I'd have to find a reason to stay home. I pictured my girlfriend making up an excuse for me, but Sarah not believing it, thinking my hemorrhoid was probably making me unable to do the drive. Well, she's had them, so she knows. What's the big deal? The big deal is now Sarah knows I have a hemorrhoid. That's fucking embarrassing. But now you know she's had one too. You're even. Exactly, I didn't want to know that. Whatever. She said it's probably because of your diet. You need to eat more fiber, take some baths, buy some medicated pads. It should go away by itself, she said. The going away by itself was good news. I got up and shuffled my feet to my computer, thinking that if it agreed, then everything would be okay. I wondered how anyone did anything before Google. Your butt feel better? My girlfriend's daughter asked. Suddenly up out of She told her daughter? You told your daughter? I just told her your butt hurt. I didn't tell her you had a hemorrhoid. Jeez, you did just now. She isn't listening. She's always listening. At my computer, I checked my email first out of habit, delaying those descriptions I wasn't sure I wanted to read, and the pictures I was sure I didn't want to see. 2 junk emails and one from the guy at the movie. "Hey guys, enjoyed the movie, but you seemed a little unhappy to see us. Hope it was just the cold weather. Best." By the time the movie had ended, I was in the worst pain I'd ever felt. All I wanted was to go home, lie down, feel shitty. When the wife left to use the restroom, my girlfriend gave me a look like, "What's the social etiquette here? Do we have to stay and wait for the official goodbye? Or ask if they want to go out, or can we just leave?" I could barely stand, my asshole both throbbing and stinging. And then the dilemma. Do I let him think I am an asshole, or tell him about my asshole? I Googled hemorrhoid while considering it and started with the soft stuff. The diet-related websites. The stuff that talked about herbal baths. I started to feel a little better about it, confirming that most do in fact go away on their own, and about half of the population gets them by the age of 50. The commonplace stat was reassuring, and I ignored the age 50 factor. I also ignored what I read about most women getting them during childbirth. Tried to ignore it. That image of veins being pushed out of the ass under all the pressure of the baby being pushed out of the vagina was that pink elephant in the corner I was trying not to think about. Leaning toward feeling better about the whole thing, I moved to the hard stuff. Descriptions of blood-covered stool, draining mucus, abscesses, fissures. Every site said surgery is sometimes needed. One site said a common method of treating internal hemorrhoids is to use a small rubber band to tie off the base of the swollen vein. The blood circulation stops and then the hemorrhoid falls off. The blood circulation, repeat treatments are sometimes necessary. And then pictures. Internal versus external. Prolapsed hemorrhoids blocking the anus. Tears in anal tissue. Blood clots forming inside external hemorrhoids. I felt sick to my stomach. I couldn't stop reading. And then I thought of how to reply. I opened up my email, hit reply, and typed, "Sorry we didn't stay longer and hang out. Turns out the veins in and around my anus." Fucking hurts. Best. And then I cut and pasted a link to a website full of pictures.